Hello, in this video we are going to do another solution to this problem here, and we're going to do it in a far more efficient manner using a really powerful technique in programming, and that's called replacing elements in the string with an empty space. So before we actually code our solution, I have a little chunk of code here I want you to take a look at and understand. So I can use the built-in function for strings called replace, and what that function does is it will take some string and I can replace whatever string with another string. So I could replace all of the A's with a B, and so if I pass it A, I get B, 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 B. I could replace all the A's with W, E, T, so wherever there's an A it's going to replace with wet, 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 wet. The replace is a really useful method. But what people don't often realize is that we can use replace and replace it with an empty string. And what that is going to do is it's going to take all the A's and replace it and put nothing there. So the result is that word is going to be an empty string. So if I run this now, it doesn't print anything. And that is actually a really, really powerful technique, because what I can do is I can take my first loop that I used in my previous video, that is the loop to pull out the component string that we'll check. So for I in range 1, comma, word, and then we're going to say 1. And what I can do now is I can create a new variable called, say, new word, and that's going to be, simply, I'm going to replace the word, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace my check. So what this does now is it essentially pulls out, just like in our last video, it's going to take the first letter, and then it's going to create that, put that in a variable check. But then I'm going to replace all the instances with space, and with an empty, sorry, not space. So all I have to do is say if the length of new word is equal to 0, meaning there's nothing there, we're going to return check. And outside the loop, if I make it through this whole loop and never actually return anything, I know that there's no common root, so I'm just going to return word. And let's see if I did this without any logic errors. So now if I run this, there's my invocation method, I get A. ABC, ABC, ABC. What's really nice about this one is whereas our first solution had these kind of messy nested loop structures, which you can see right here, this one takes advantage of this really nice technique called replace. I've seen this be really useful in some of the old Waterloo computer science contest problems, and in a lot of various algorithms that I'm developing. This idea of being able to replace a section of a string with nothing allows us to do some rather wonderful things. If you have any questions, as always, don't hesitate to ask. Have a wonderful day.